I have always loved quiet evenings alone. No one bothers me. I can immerse myself in a book or watch a TV series without being distracted by conversations. Today is exactly that kind of evening. The rain is drumming on the windowsill. The wind whistles through the cracks. I have heard all these sounds a million times, and they calmed me. But today, something is wrong. The first alarming sign was a sound from the kitchen. Clear, metallic, the click of the switch on the kettle. Once, click. I sat in the living room and froze. I didn't put the kettle on. That's impossible. I hadn't gone into the kitchen all evening. My heart began to beat faster. It seemed so, I said to myself. An old house, old pipes. What nonsense. I tried not to pay attention, continuing to watch TV, but my attention was scattered. Through the noise of the rain, I heard something else, the slight creak of the floor in the hallway, as if someone was carefully shifting from foot to foot, trying not to make a sound. I turned off the TV. The living room became quiet, only the rain beating against the window. I listened. Nothing. It seemed so, again. I got up to go check the door. It was locked. I saw for myself. Returning to the living room, I noticed something out of my corner of eye. In the mirror, in the hallway, something flashed for a moment. Not a clear shape, but just movement, a shadow. I turned sharply. Behind me was empty. Stress, I thought. I need to go to bed. But when I went into the bedroom and lay down, I heard a completely different sound. Not a click, not a creak, but quiet. But absolutely clear. Breathing. Not my own. It was coming from under the bed. My body clenched into one solid muscle. Blood pounded in my temples, drowning out the rain. But this other breathing broke through the noise. Slow, measured, raw. It was too close. It was right here, in this room, inches away from me, separated only by the thin layer of mattress and the wooden slats of the bed. My mind raced with thoughts, trying to find a rational explanation. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe it was the pipes. But no, it was breathing. I could hear a slight wheeze on the inhale, a wet rustle on the exhale. I lay still, maybe a minute, maybe 10. The breathing didn't stop. It didn't come closer or go further. It was just there, intrusive. It was like someone was sleeping under my bed, or not sleeping, just lying there, waiting. Willpower began to overcome the paralysis. I slowly, millimeter by millimeter, turned my head on the pillow, trying not to make a sound. My gaze slid from the ceiling to the wall, then to the bedside table. I didn't dare look over the edge of the bed. I was afraid to see something that was breathing. Instead, my gaze returned to the bedroom door. It was half open, leaving a gap in the darkness of the hallway, and there I saw it. A shadow. Not the flickering one, but a solid, human figure, standing motionless in the hallway, as if watching me. It was taller than a normal person and seemed to absorb the light from the living room behind it. My heart stopped in my chest. I couldn't look away. The breathing under the bed suddenly quickened, as if in response to my panic. Did it see it too? Was it connected to what was standing in the doorway? The shadow in the doorway made a hand, a slow, flowing gesture, like an invitation, and then it dissolved, just disappeared. and the breathing under the bed suddenly stopped. There was a dead silence. Even the rain stopped. I don't remember how the next hour passed. I lay pressed against the ceiling, waiting for something to happen, but nothing happened. The silence was even more terrifying than the sounds. Finally, I plucked up the courage. Slowly, trembling, I lowered one leg from the bed to the floor, then the other. I stood up. The room was empty. No one in the doorway, no one under the bed. I glanced quickly, feeling a pang of nausea. I needed to get to the kitchen. I needed to drink water or something stronger. I walked into the hallway, feeling every cell in my body tense to the limit. As I walked, I noticed something on the parquet floor. A small puddle. Water. Barefoot prints. They led from the bathroom and headed toward my bedroom. But I wasn't walking barefoot tonight.
My heart sank. They weren't my footprints. They were too big, too long, with too clear fingerprints, as if someone had just stepped out of the water. They didn't dry out, but looked fresh, wetter than the air. The panic I had been holding back all night finally broke through. I rushed to the front door, forgetting all caution. My fingers trembled as I tried to open the lock. It wouldn't budge. I turned it both ways, in vain. It was as if someone had changed the mechanism from the inside. "Phone," my mind whispered. I dashed to the living room where I had left it on the charger. There was only a frayed wire on the floor. The phone itself was gone. Then I heard it again. Breathing. But this time, it wasn't coming from under the bed. It was coming from right behind me. Slow, raw, at arm's length. I didn't turn around. I knew what I would see. Instead, I stared at the dark screen of the television. Its glossy black surface reflected the room behind me like a mirror. And I saw it. A tall, hunched figure, with overlong arms that hung down almost to my knees. His skin was deathly pale and seemed to be soaking wet, leaving marks on the floor. His face was featureless, just a pale oval mask dripping with water, and it stood right behind me, motionless, its chest rising and falling in the rhythm of that terrible breath. It wasn't ghostly, it was physical, real, and it was in my house. It had always been here, waiting for me to be alone, for years perhaps, under the bed, in the ventilation, in dark corners I had never looked into. I closed my eyes, feeling the coldness of the creature permeate the air. I could feel its presence with every nerve. It was not a ghost that could be chased away. It was my resident, my roommate. I opened my eyes. In the dark screen of the television, I saw one of those long, pale hands slowly reach out to my shoulder. It smelled of stagnant water and old horror. I didn't have time to pull away. Cold, clammy fingers touched my skin. And suddenly everything changed. The panic was gone, leaving only a calm, icy emptiness. I don't feel fear now. I look at my hands. They seem so familiar to me. I turn and look at it. At us. It's no longer standing still. It breathes beside me, its breathing now synchronized with mine. Footprints on the floor lead to both of us. The door opens. But I don't want to leave anymore. This is my home. Our home. The silence is different now. It's not empty. It's full. And I know that from this evening on,
I will never be truly alone. Never.